thank you all for coming here today. My name is John Mangiaratti. I'm the town manager here for the town of Acton, and this is a morning we're going to be doing a lot of thank yous. This beautiful station to help serve our community was constructed with the help of the community, and it's so nice to see so many members of the community here this morning. I've been talking to people in the crowd. There are select board members from the last 15 years here. All of them had a role in making this happen to where we are today. The fire department has played a big part in making sure that they do a great job in the stations that we had, and then now that we're here, they're doing a tremendous job supporting the North Acton area. And so this is an exciting day. We have a nice tour. We'll bring people around the building after this brief speaking program. And so I'll just get started with some general remarks. This fire station has been discussed and anticipated for close to 50 years, according to local historians I've been speaking with. But in the last 3 years or so, we've secured funding from town meeting. That work was extensive, both from a staff standpoint, but from a community outreach standpoint. Select board members and community advocates worked very hard to help gather support for this project, which, as you know, it required both a town meeting vote and a ballot vote to be approved as a debt exclusion. And it was a strong, strong sign of support for both the fire department and for the community that both votes were overwhelming. So we're very pleased to be here. We had a groundbreaking right here on October 19th. Right, the ground I think that we tossed was right about here. If you remember, this used to be an old state office for the Mass Fisheries and Wildlife. Was a small white building right here that was torn down, and now we have this beautiful, modern, and safe and appropriately equipped fire station. Construction began in September of 2020 that year. Through a major pandemic, you can imagine that a construction project is complex in many ways, but doing it during a pandemic with supply chain and public health and all the other things that we dealt with over the last few years. The project team, which included our architect, Castle Boos, our project manager, PMA, the general contractor, Hart Construction, and a very strong internal team made up of members of the Fire Station Building Committee, which included Public Facilities Director Andrea Steen, Teresa O'Leary, our collector and deputy treasurer, Chief Robert Hart, of course you all know the chief, Mark Hald, Dean Charter, and other members of staff that helped throughout the way. So a complete effort. I just want to recognize the members of the select board that are here with us this morning. We have Dean Charter, we have Fran Arsenal, David Martin, and Jim Snyder Grant. Sorry, there's a lot of people here. Also former select board members that I can see, and I'd like to recognize Peter Berry, John Benson, Mike Gowing, Lauren Rosenzweig Morton, Joan Gardner, Franny Osmond, and if you're others that are here, thank you for your support through the years and up until this day. Thank you for being here. I'd like to welcome up here the chair of the select board, Dean Charter.
Good morning. In preparing my remarks today, I looked back a bit to find some proper historical context for the Acton Fire Department. In Phelan's History of the Town of Acton, we find the following passages. On the evening of October 24th, 1862, there occurred the greatest fire Acton had ever known. Some unknown incendiary had threatened by anonymous note to leave a black mark on the center village. Beginning at the stable near the hotel, the flames took over the shoe manufactory, the hotel, and threatened the whole village. A blazing shingle was wafted across the common and stuck at the very top of the townhouse. Here at last was a fatal payoff at the long refusal to install proper firefighting equipment. The people of Acton, usually so efficient in civic affairs, had to stand by appalled and watch the whole building turn to ashes. At a town meeting on November 4th of that year, the selectmen were instructed to ascertain the expenses for hooks, ladders, and buckets for several villages. This looked like progress, but the astounding thing is that when the committee reported back on December 2nd, the town meeting dismissed the article relating to fire protection. On July 4th, 1913, the Monument House Hotel, near where the Acton Fire Station now stands, was gutted by fire. The ruins stood as an eyesore until the spring of 1916, when the town voted to take measures in the matter. On the night of July 3rd, 1916, either local pranksters or truly civic-minded individuals set the ruins ablaze. An out-of-town visitor from Kentucky who witnessed the conflagration asserted that he had never seen a competent fire department work so hard to make sure a burning building should be a total loss. At this point, I should make some comments about how things have changed, but sadly, some things stay the same. It took 50 years for the construction of the North Acton Fire Station, now before us, to take place. My former colleague on the Board of Selectmen, Joan Gardner, in her first term on the board in the early 1970s, voted to acquire a site for the North Acton Station. And in her final term on the Select Board, Joan was actually able to vote and see this thing take place 50 years later. I personally served on numerous committees trying to make this happen. Fire Chief Tom Barry, Fire Chief Malcolm McGregor, Fire Chief Robert Craig, Fire Chief Patrick Futterer, and Fire Chief Robert Hart all told us we needed a station here, and every year the need increased, and finally the town listened. The fire department is an integral part of our town. They no longer are a volunteer force who responds to the fire whistles. And by the way, I still have my Acton Auxiliary Fire Department badge from the 1960s when I was 16 years old and was on the Auxiliary Fire Department. And Chief, if you need it back, I'll turn it over to you. We now have a 100% professional force and trained and equipped to modern standards. But at its core, the fire department represents the heart of our community. They still look out for us and put their lives on the line for us every day. I hope that this incredible new building will serve not only to protect our community, but to let our first responders know how much we appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Fire Chief Robert Hart.
Oh, what a day, huh? Beautiful morning. Thank you for all for coming and helping us celebrate this new building. A long time coming. My mom, Janice, we got married in 1961, which was the last year of our oldest station that we have. So 61 years later, here we are opening up a new station. So we're very grateful for all involved. Like John had mentioned, this is a real team effort from the citizens, select board members coming out to the neighborhood, having a little coffee talks and discussions about the needs. So we really appreciate the grassroots effort. You know, working with PMA consultants, Karina and Brian, Yuan, they're just a super team. You know, moving on to the architects with Kevin and Todd Costa, just a great company to work with, very responsive to our wishes and needs. The design review board in Acton helped us choose this beautiful structure, so we're really getting into all the town members and committees. Can't say enough about Hutter Construction. You know, Caleb and Todd, just super people to work with every day. I have a construction background, and these guys know how to get it done, so we're really grateful for that team. And certainly we can't forget the solar array that's on the top of the building, which nobody can see. So that's a great thing from Select Energy. So you know, with the direction of the board, we really strive to make this an energy efficient building. So we have geothermal heating and cooling in here with the geothermal wells underneath the driveway where the fire trucks are parked alongside of the building. So really forward thinking as far as energy conservation for the structure itself. Moving forward, you know, we fought to get a fitness room, which is part of our not only physical well-being, but our mental well-being for the firefighters. As Dean had mentioned, it's really important to take care of these guys who take care of you. So, you know, they're at the top of the list with creating this structure, making it a great workplace, but also a great home, because it's their home away from home. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we really encourage them to take some breaks and downtime, whether it's physical fitness or just relaxing throughout the day. 24 hours is a long shift, and these guys do a great job of protecting us. So a huge thank you and a round of applause for our fire guys. So the men and women of our department not only do fire, but medicals as well. We're a paramedic level department, so we're super proud of that. The ambulance right now is taking care of somebody on an ALS level. So we're super happy and excited that we can do that and offer that for you citizens. And I'm going to wind down here because I don't want to talk longer than Dean. I don't want to be that guy. So just really thank you to everybody within the towns, taxpayers, and our teams of people that helped get this done. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for your leadership for this project and making sure that it goes smoothly and getting the teams in here quickly. As you may know, we actually occupied the building in February. So even though this is a ribbon cutting, we've been operating out of here for several months, and it's been growing really well. So to put together a big project like this, you need partners locally. We need the community, but we also rely heavily on our partnerships with our state partners. And you know, one thing you may have noticed is we built a new sidewalk on Harris Street as part of this project, and a large, very substantial portion of that sidewalk was funded through a state grant through the Shared Streets program, which we received support from our delegation to receive that funding, and they've helped us along the way on many other projects like this. So I'd like to welcome a member of our delegation, Senator Jamie Eldridge.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, John, and just so excited to be here at this final moment of the ribbon cutting of the North Acton Fire Station, and very proud to be here with Representative Dan Cena. I know that Representative Cena, myself, and Representative Gavea were strong advocates for the Shared Streets grant. But I would say in that light, as I think most people here know, public safety facilities are almost entirely locally funded. So there's not state programs for fire or police stations, unlike libraries or schools. So I first just want to thank all the residents of Acton for their very strong support for this fire station to really fill a gap. The fact that North Acton and North Acton residents did not have a fire station. And, you know, listening to Dean's remarks about the fact that the last fire station was built, it was 1961, I will say, as someone that grew up in South Acton, I think that often North Acton was often sort of a second thought. It was an extremely rural part of Acton back then, even, you know, myself growing up in South Acton, and there weren't that many residents here. That has transformed tremendously. Many of the new developments are here in Acton, and one of the things that I know happened during the deliberations over approving the funding and the planning for the North Acton Fire Station was the response times. And for anyone that's had a fire, anyone who's had a healthcare emergency in their home, we all know that that response time of 3, 4, 5 minutes can make the difference in a life being saved, a home being saved, or someone being helped who's in a very difficult situation. And so to be able to provide that level of response to North Acton residents is really critical. I want to thank and congratulate Chief Hart for his leadership in getting to this day. I want to thank all the Acton firefighters and EMS for their tremendous work, again, saving lives each and every day. And the reality is, just like libraries, just like schools, just like every public facility, is the way to show respect and really the way to show true support for our public officials, especially those in the front line, is to make sure that we have 21st century equipment, 21st century buildings. And I'm sure it's already been noted today, but this building, in addition to being almost 100% clean energy with the geothermal and the solar, which I'm very proud, it also has the most modern equipment to make sure that the toxic chemicals that when a firefighter goes into a burning house often gets on his or her clothes, the issues that we're seeing more and more at the state level with PFAS, that this fire station has that modern equipment to clean those toxic chemicals and make sure that we can better protect the lives of all firefighters and EMS. So it's really appreciative of the amount of thought that the Acton Select Board put into this, the North Acton Fire Station Committee, and all the public employees that made sure this is the most modern of fire stations. To think of the fact that in 1961 the population of Acton was just 7,000 compared to where it is. Clearly we needed a new fire station, and this fire station costing approximately $10 million is a very sound investment, again, for the whole town and the public safety of everyone. I want to commend, in addition to the select board, and it's so great to see the different select board members that are here over the course of this discussion of moving forward to build this fire station. But in addition to that, the fire station committee, I know that two residents did a tremendous amount of advocacy to gather the political will to support this, and that was John Benson and Sahana Purweet. So I know all the coffees and the meetings that they had to gather support for this fire station. Again, the fact that there wasn't a new fire station since 1961 shows there was that need to build that support for that. And of course, I want to thank John Mangiaratti for his very wise and very specific stewardship of the town's finances, including this project. So I would just conclude and say it again, this is about saving lives. This is about going into people's homes and making sure they're safe, helping them when there's a healthcare emergency, and helping people at their most vulnerable. And if we don't have the most modern facilities to support our firefighters and our public safety employees, then that service is going to be a little bit less. So congratulations, everyone. I'm honored to be here, and thanks so much for making today happen. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Representative Danilo Senna.
Oh, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I know when the last time I was here, it was almost 2 years ago. It was October 2020 when we had the groundbreaking, and the fact that we're able to get this done within 2 years, and now it's working. I want to say that I have nothing to do with building this fire station, but I really just want to say thank you for all the people who has done so much work and their advocacy. I mean, we're talking about town residents, with elected officials in terms of the Board of Selectmen. I certainly appreciate their work to get this done. I wish there were money from the state involved, but this is all a local issue. But I just want to say thank you for the town, because I mean it's about public safety. It's about making sure quality of life and the fact that we can feel safe at home if there's an emergency in regards to even healthcare in terms of paramedicals. I think that's so important. So with that, I just want to say thank you, and thank you.
So here we are at a ribbon cutting, so we're now going to proceed with the ceremonial ribbon cutting. But first I'd like to invite up Todd Costa from Castle Booze, the design firm for this program. I'd also like to invite up Joan Gardner, Dean Charter, and Chief Hart.
Well, on behalf of Castle Booze, we'd like to thank the community for the opportunity to work with this wonderful community and this great design team, not just the design team, the great team of PMA, Hutter, and Castle Booze. But if anything that we've learned with working with fire departments across the Commonwealth, every job needs the right tool. So today, the design team, I get the honor of doing so, would like to present Chief Hart with the correct tool to cut his ribbon.
Holy Moses. Yes. So we get these, the biggest pair of scissors I've ever held. So thank you very much, Todd, and the team. It was a team effort. If I may, I neglected to really thank Judy Craig, Robert Craig, deceased, really put a lot of effort into this station and really appreciate all of that sacrifice. Also, former Deputy Chief Robert Vanderhoof is here. He spent a tremendous amount of time while he was employed with the town to make this a reality. So thank you, and I guess we'll get to cutting the ribbon, right?
Yes. So if we could have the select board members come up here, we're going to do a ceremonial cutting. Yeah, we're going to go behind the ribbon. You can either walk all the way around or sneak by here, whatever is more comfortable for you. We got to.
Yeah, everybody get close.
How to do it, right?
So everybody get close to the
Pile in.